the Raiders have no chance at winning the AFC West. 0 almost. Well, they're saying the Raiders have a 3% chance. According to all markets on this Poly Market website, has put together this calculation and are giving the Raiders a 3% chance to win the AFC West. They're giving the Broncos a 22% chance, the Chargers a 23% chance. It's basically the same. And then the Chiefs, of course, a 53% chance. So, I mean, yeah, you're saying there is a 3% chance that the Raiders win the division, but is that really a chance? Like, when I say 99.9% sure, I mean,
hey, you only need a 1% chance. You like in poker, you need a chip and a chair, and you could go wherever you want with it. So you only need that little chance. Like what did they say, Tony? So you're saying there's a chance, right? That's all. That's it. You shoot your shot and whatever happens. But in the perfect world, like those computers take out the human aspect of any sport that we have out there. Mm-hmm. You're not taking anything into accountability. They're probably not even taking weather into it. There's so much that go into it. And like Tony said, injuries happen. And one guy goes down, like Herbert goes down, that changes your whole season.
Knock on wood. Oh, wow. Thank you.
One thing goes down. It's a big injury. Like same thing with the Chiefs. If Mahomes goes down, come on, or it changes the whole season. So you can give percentages, you can say records, you can say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, we got to see how it goes.
And I think that my comment is obviously that's the quarterback is key, but for me, it's more like which offensive line stays the healthiest throughout the year. You can usually tie things back to that level of a success. Which team has the healthiest group of defensive backs throughout the year? You can usually tie some success to that because like the way we're passing the football, and I'm saying we like as if I'm part of the NFL, the game that we're watching right now, it relies so heavily on being able to provide healthy coverage on the back end. If you can cover, you can turn average pass rushers into good pass rushers. Like the two things go together so well. But if you start having giant holes, like good teams are just going to attack the shit out of it, and you're just going to get abused every week in the same aspects of your team. And that's why, like going in, the teams are all so close, but then injuries separate them. Depth on the roster, coaching on the roster makes the margins, which are so thin to start in June, by the time you get to November, December, it's like these teams aren't even close.
Which is exactly why we're here on this podcast today to give our record predictions on June 1st. So, way too early record predictions. Let's start with Joe. I want to hear yours. I do.
For the whole division or just the Raiders?
Yeah, let's just go with Raiders first.
7-10.
Holy shit.
Are you serious?
Fuck no. I'm talking about 17-0, baby. You can't come at me like that. You know the Raiders running through all these games. Ain't nobody stopping the Las Vegas Raiders this season. Gonna go 7-10. Come on, man. And you guys were bought into that. Look at your faces like, oh, nah, hell no.
I was like, Joe, the internet is, you are looking for reasons for Raiders fans to hate you by saying that shit into a, oh, man.
Are you going to give us a synopsis or anything at least?
I just told you 17-0. Best running back in the game. Best tight end in the game. Geno Smith balling out 5,500 yards, 45 touchdowns. Max Crosby, 38 sacks on the season. It's going to be wild. Like, you ever play Madden on rookie mode? That's how the Raiders were going to treat the NFL this year. Just running through them like 100-0 every game.
38 sacks. That would be.
I told them at the beginning of the show this was going to be an unbiased take. That's not bias. That's just straight delusion. That's past bias. That's over the next level past bias. You're outside the bias box even at this point.
No, but my real record is 7-10. Is for the Raiders. Like,
okay,
I'm not so confident this year, and maybe that's a good thing because everything I say, the opposite happens. So I'll take 7-10, and I to me that for a first year with Pete Carroll with some of these guys, I'll take that. I think the Raiders are going to be very, very, very competitive, and they're going to be hanging in some of these games. But like you said, we got to win those games at the end of the game. And if it does happen, then you steal like 2 or 3. Like I say, 7-10, they steal another 2 or 3 games. They're right there in the playoffs. So it just depends. Like I'm looking at the schedule, going, okay, this is it. But I could see him taking another win or two, or Pete Carroll's, or somebody taking over a game and winning 1 or 2 more, and we're good. But at this point, I'm saying 7-10, and you can hate all you want and say I'm not optimistic or whatever, but it's a tough division. It's a lot of changeover in the first season, and you try to get everybody on the same page. A lot of rookies. Like this is the one good thing I like about this Raider team. It's a young team. It's a very young team that they're going out. We haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, for the first time, maybe we've agreed before. It's starting to become a regular occurrence on the show, honestly. But we're agreeing on this exactly, Joe. I did think that the Raiders improved in a sense that just getting Pete Carroll versus Antonio Pierce is night and day in the operation from start to finish, from day one to whatever the season ends. So that alone, I think, improves your team a ton. Now, if I was the Raiders, I would have focused on O-line, or I would have focused on defense. But you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to get some excitement immediately back into this franchise from the fan base, who's been chanting to fire the last couple of freaking coaches on the sidelines. It's been a mess. So I think that they just want to get those juices back with that Ashton Jeanty pick, and that's what really separates it. They would have went left tackle, and they would have gotten Colton Miller out of there finally, which I've been saying they should have been doing for 5 years, and they would have improved in the secondary and all that. I could predict the Raiders to do what the Chargers did in 2024 and double their win total. I would never do that. I am having them almost double their win total, though, Joe. I also have them at 7-10. That's almost doubling their win total from a year ago, and Raiders fans are calling me an idiot. What do you guys want? I'm doubling your win total.
So they were 4-13 last year. Yeah, I'm gonna double the win total at 8-9. And like I said, I think that I think the floor with Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, the ability to have a pass rush. Part of my thing with the Raiders when I look at it is like they have key contributors coming back from injuries. So like when Pete Carroll talks about like Christian Wilkins, it's like, is he even going to start the season healthy? Like Kuntz, is he going to be able to be out there and be effective at the beginning of the year, right? Like, and then you're mixing in new coordinator with coach, with teammates, with whatever. So like, I think it takes a little bit to get going, but I believe that Pete has the ability to keep it together and for the Raiders to finish the season stronger than it starts. And for a lot of teams to be saying like, oh, the Raiders year is 2026, like they'll be a popular team to be maybe not win the division, but a team that people are like, oh, I really like the Raiders to be a playoff team in 2026.
Yeah, I think overall that's my sentiment too. Maybe Pete isn't going to make the Raiders great again. He's making them functional again.
Yeah. Well, it's just about being competitive and being in the game. Like there were so many times watching a Raider game last year where after halftime you were like, we're done. It's over. They're not going to make the adjustments. It's completely done. And the only thing when you're watching a game, like losing sucks. Watching your team lose, but as long as your team is competitive, you can hang your hat on some things in the loss. That's the main thing. Like, and it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, it has. I'm enjoying it. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, let's go straight to the Chargers now and give my unbiased take on the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to be a team that's similar to last year, but like we're saying with the Raiders, even more continuity, even more chemistry. I mean, we're set at both tackles once the Slater deal gets done. Imagine Joe Alt gets better than last year where he's going head-to-head with Max Crosby, going head-to-head with TJ Watt and, getting beat once in an entire game. We're pretty set at corner, Tony. I know you said to add Stephon Gilmore. That'll be a luxury pick at corner. I mean, we got some players at that position with some potential. The Chargers wide receiver room has been addressed. They have 4 running backs. They addressed the interior part of the O-line. I mean, how do we not go 17-0? How do we not go undefeated this year and go all the way to the Super Bowl and win it here in California?
I'm all for it, and
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I have us going 11-6 again. I think our schedule is way harder this year when you just look at it game for game. So I think that we have the same win total, but are a much better team, not a first round exit like we were last year, and having to be carried by our quarterback to that level, honestly, to a playoff caliber team. Instead, we are a playoff caliber team with that playoff caliber quarterback, and we are helping him on that same level. I think the Chargers win 11 games and win this division via tiebreaker because they go 5-1 in the division.
I really like that. I have them as my division winner too at 12-5. Everybody keeps talking about how the schedule got harder, but it's like the team also can get better, right? Like a lot of these games that they were losing last year, not all of them, but some of them can turn into wins, right? Where it's like they were beating all of the teams that they should pretty soundly for the most part. There was like the Atlanta game, which was a little funky, and losing that Cardinals game was not a great game to lose. But like in a lot of these games where the teams just had, the answers in the second half. And again, all of these things are like, what does the team's health look like coming out of training camp? Is Mekhi Becton on the field and healthy, ready to go?
Yeah.
Like, are all those guys out there? Like, is Mike Williams coming out of camp and ready to start the season healthy and adding that, that element of being able to stretch the field more reliable than what we had last season? I like them to be, just because the schedule on paper gets harder doesn't mean that the team maybe loses more games than they did the year before, because every team that eventually gets to sustaining success, their schedules are hard every year.
Yeah.
Like, do you think
right.
the Ravens look around or the Chiefs look around or the Bills look around and go like, oh, it's hard every year? Now, it helps for the AFC East, who's ever on top of that division, that the other three teams always somehow seem to be in complete disarray, and that's how the Patriots can run a division for 2 straight decades. But, like, it's going to be a tough division and a tough schedule, but I think they can find a way to win these games because the run game will be what people thought it would be last year or hoped it would be last year. I think this year, this is one of the better rushing football teams in the NFL, and that will usually lead to stocking up wins, keeping the team relatively healthy throughout the year.
Yeah, I think even a layer deeper than that, and I'll let you go ahead and give your prediction, Joe, after this, is to keep our quarterback healthy. I mean, that's very obviously a key to success in any team, but our quarterback specifically, it's not that he gets hurt. He's out there playing hurt. We need to try and avoid that. Like that Steelers game, in that loss, he's playing close to 50%, it feels like, at times. Like he's on one leg, he's hobbled, he's struggling already. I hope that we can get those pass protection issues that the Chargers had early on the year specifically that caused him to get really banged up addressed, and he's not getting hit the way he was. There's a certain amount that he's going to take just because of his play style, but I really hope that the Mekhi Becton ad, you're helping out with the running backs. They're trying new things on the interior at center. We need to not have our $60 million guy getting put on his back to complete passes. We want him to be able to stand up and complete them. But go ahead, Joe. What's your prediction?
Looking at the Charger schedule, tough. They're traveling the most. Most of it's all in the week 1 anyways. Like I think that was blown out of proportion of the way the travel schedule was. Most of those miles are going to accumulate week 1. If I had to guess right now, 3-14, 3-14 for the Chargers. You don't like that one, Mike? Huh? You don't like 3-14?
I get trolled too much to get trolled straight to my face by one of my best friends. Okay.
I think I'm right there with Tony. Like I'm going back and forth. Like I don't think the Chiefs win the division this year. So I think it's up for grabs. And I've been going back and forth on the win total for the Chargers, and I think you guys are right around there, 11, 12, and I'd probably lean more towards 12 mark for the Chargers, and possibly see them as the new division champion this year. And that doesn't really help because now all the like, yep, you're a Charger fan. That's what they're gonna say. I'm a Charger fan.
Yeah, I totally won't clip that up at all. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can start to see that smash mouth football implemented the way it's meant to be implemented. Because they tried last year. They didn't have the horses to really push it down people's throat the way they wanted.
We could say this every year, but the downfall of the Chiefs is coming. And we could say it, and one year we're going to be 100%. One year we're going to be 100% correct.
It's going to happen eventually. And I was going to say, I was going to add this to the news segment earlier. Like, it is good news. We are in year 9 of Mahomes now. I mean, I feel like we're already past halfway if we're in year 9.
Do not become that LeBron hater where he's like, LeBron turns 30 this year. That shit's almost over. And then he's like,
done. Get him out of here.
LeBron, 10 years later, the same tweet. LeBron turns 40.
20 years later.
Almost done. It's like
like John Cena was the champ in 2005, 2015, and now he's the champ in 2025. It's like he ain't never going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere.
The thing that has happened, I think, that makes the Chiefs more vulnerable is every year that the connection between Mahomes and Kelsey and whatever. That's why, like, it'd be really devastating for Tyreek to come back, right? Because there's already a built-in understanding, use of chemistry there. And then it's like, yes, Kelsey's can be there, but can he be able to do it every single week? And I think last year's answer was like, we've already seen he can't just be magical back to back to back to back to back anymore. And when that stuff starts to wear off, and then you have questions at offensive line,
especially tackle.
The thing is, if the Chiefs figured out this tackle thing, if they hit on this kid from San Francisco, and the Sumateia, the guy they drafted, fits in nicely at guard, we're all fucked. Like, if they just figure out offensive line that fast, like, we're all going to be screwed again in the AFC West. But I'm kind of thinking that it's a little bit trickier than it has been in the past, and people are starting, hopefully, to be able to watch how to rush Mahomes effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems like everybody always just sort of rushes too far upfield. You have to rush him as a unit, like, with discipline. You know, like, you can't just run upfield. He'll find it and he'll go. Like, that's successful. Real quick, I would go Broncos 11-6, Chiefs 10-7.
Yeah, I have the Chiefs at 11-6. I have the Broncos at 9-8. I think Denver's defense will be great again, but again, I keep going back to their offense, not really impressing me that much. I'm also a Bo Nix doubter, so I'm not going to stop doubting him today. I'm going to keep doubting him. And I do think that, like, I'll keep saying, I do think he is better than Drew Lock. I do think he's going to be a good quarterback. I don't know if he's going to take a leap. I think that now some tape is out on him. Some of his mistakes might get exposed a little bit more. And then, like, that little tuss that he had with Sean Payton on the sideline. Everyone just throws that kind of stuff out and doesn't talk about it. Rookie quarterbacks don't talk back to their supposed to be historic head coaches. Just, I don't know. I think there's something more to it. I think that they were starting to get frustrated with each other already midway through last year. So I'm hoping that the Broncos also, along with the Chiefs, which might be hopeful thinking, because along with everything you said about the tackle and everything you said about figuring out Mahomes and trying to get better at beating the Chiefs, their secondary by math every year should get worse. But the coaching, and they just put it together. They're good drafters at that position, and defense in general. Their pass rush is always amazing. They find a way to make guys who only us have heard of play at Pro Bowl level in the secondary every year. So they should get better. So it might be hopeful thinking. I have the Chiefs at 11-6. Like I said, with the Chargers winning the division 5-1, sweeping the Raiders and Broncos again, and only losing one of the two games to the Chiefs.
The downfall of the Chiefs is this year.
Exactly. Chargers 11-6, Chiefs 11-6, Broncos 8-9, Raiders 7-10, and that would probably be the most wins in football in a division. Probably would be.
They already had it last year, I think.
Yeah, so back to back then.
15-2, 11-6, 10-7, and then 4-13.
Joe, what do you think about? Yeah, really holding it up there in the bottom. What do you think about the Chiefs' record?
I have 10 wins.
10 wins.
10 wins.
It's like
I'm not gonna count them.
Yeah, it's like we all want to. We all want to do it. We just are not going to be completely dumb like me in the past and just say they're going to go 9-8 or 8-9 out of nowhere for no reason.
But then they go 1-16 and they take Dylan Raiola or whatever his name is from Nebraska, and then they come right back and win it all.
Oh yeah, because he's definitely just gonna be the next Mahomes. Well, what about the Broncos, Joe? That's the last one.
I have them around the same spot, around 10 wins as well. It's a tough division, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Joe, you gotta pick a winner of the freaking division. We can't end the show with just no pick for the winner.
I did pick a winner of the division.
Who is it? Who do you pick to win the AFC West, Joe?
I don't remember. It's all foggy and blurry now.
There's 4 teams. It's either the Raiders, the Broncos, the Chargers, or the Chiefs.
Well, if one team goes 17-0, don't you think they win the division?
Yeah, so the Chargers are going 17-0, winning the division?
No.
The Raiders fans aren't going to like that prediction.
Bill Flames, I went Mike on the mic. With something brand new, one time for your mind. He gave you fair warning. Now it's time to smack him in the mouth with that raw sports talk from the town. Sweet chin music to your favorite sportscaster.